The New York State Office of the Attorney General settled with Genesis Global Holdco in a proposed motion in its case surrounding the Gemini Earn program on February 8th. The following day, the NYAG filed a new expanded complaint in the case, naming Genesis Global Holdco and all its co-defendants. However, the Genesis Holding Company filed a motion for the New York Southern District Bankruptcy Court to approve a settlement agreement between it and the NYAG on February 8th. The settlement is the product of extensive negotiation, the filing said. The Genesis settlement stipulated that the NYAG would receive payment on its claims on equal footing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, and only after payments to creditors. Genesis settled with the SEC for $21 million on January 31. The court will consider both settlements on February 14th. In October, New York Attorney General Letitia James filed suit against Genesis Holdco, Genesis Global Capital, Genesis Asia Pacific, their parent company, Digital Currency Group, Cryptocurrency Exchange, Gemini, former Genesis Channel CEO Michael, and DCG CEO Barry Silbert for fraud in connection with the Gemini Earn program. The NYAG accused the parties of defrauding more than 230,000 investors, including 29,000 New Yorkers, of more than $1 billion, among other charges. On February 9, James announced that the New York was expanding its claims against DCG, Silbert, and Morrow. The New York had found additional investors who had lost funds. In spite of a settlement reached a day earlier, Genesis Holdco, as one of the Genesis DCG defendants, is mentioned in 5 of the 10 causes of action in the new complaint, according to the amended complaint. Claims that the Genesis loan book was over-collateralized were false, and much of Gemini customers' funds were invested in FTX-affiliated Alameda Research. Genesis also suffered losses from the collapse of 3 Arrows Capital. The complaint continued. It is seeking a permanent enjoinder against the defendants from operating related businesses in New York State and disgorgement of illegally obtaining funds and repayment of investors. Increase the ships could be themselves several businesses of the shipping fold. And North Korea would be second, their points comes and moved into $7 million, especially when North's second $1 million last year. And there are much less investor losses linked to the Gemini Earn product and Genesis investments. And Gemini and Genesis partnered on the Gemini Earn program, which was launched in 2021. Genesis suspended withdrawals in November 2022 and filed for bankruptcy in January 2023. A flurry of court action resulted. The SEC filed a complaint against Gemini and Genesis in January 2023. Gemini sued Genesis in July and again in October. Genesis reached an agreement with the New York Bar of Financial Services for anti-money laundering failings and weak cybersecurity in January. It also lost its New York BIT license under the agreement.